You wake before the world does, before the noise, before the notifications, before the obligations that will soon demand pieces of your attention, before the stories you repeat to yourself about who you are and what your body is capable of handling. There is a moment, quiet, fragile, electric, where biology is listening. Every cell is tuned to a frequency set by the night you just survived. And in that moment, most people do the one thing they were praised for their entire lives. They eat. They break the silence with sugar, with starch, with ritual, with comfort. They call it discipline. They call it balance. They call it health. They call it breakfast. And without realizing it, they interrupt the most powerful repair sequence their body runs all day.
For decades, we were taught that aging is inevitable, that decline is normal, that weight gain is a personal failure, that fatigue is simply the price of getting older. We were told that time steals vitality. But time doesn't steal it. We give it away, one habit at a time, often with the best intentions. The morning meal is not just food. It is a signal, a hormonal command, a biological switch that tells your liver whether to continue healing or to stop, whether to keep burning fat or to store it, whether to clean house at the cellular level or to shut the doors and brace for impact.
While you slept, you were fasting. Not metaphorically, not spiritually, biochemically. For 10, 12, sometimes 14 hours, your digestive system went quiet. No incoming calories, no insulin spikes. Your insulin dropped to its lowest point in the entire 24-hour cycle, and your liver stepped forward like a night shift engineer. It released just enough stored glucose to keep your brain alive, while turning inward to do something extraordinary. Autophagy. This isn't a wellness trend. It isn't a buzzword. It is cellular recycling. Damaged proteins are dismantled. Misfolded structures are broken down. Old mitochondria, the power plants of your cells, are tagged and replaced. Inflammation resolves quietly, without drama, without applause. Fat is oxidized. Ketones are produced. Your metabolism remembers what it was designed to do before constant eating taught it fear. And then the alarm rings. Within minutes, most people shut the entire system down. The moment food hits your mouth, insulin rises. That rise is not harmless. Insulin is not evil, but it is powerful. It is a growth hormone, a storage hormone, a command that says, stop burning, start saving. Fat burning shuts off. Autophagy slows. The liver exits repair mode. And if that insulin spike is early enough, frequent enough, large enough, day after day, year after year, the liver adapts. Not by healing, but by storing fat within itself, not under the skin, inside the organ that controls metabolism. This is how fatty liver disease is born, not from calories alone, but from mistimed signals. People argue endlessly about breakfast. Eggs and bacon, fruit and yogurt, green smoothies glowing with promise. But the argument misses the deeper truth. Even low-carbohydrate foods stimulate insulin. Protein does too. And when protein is combined with carbohydrates, the insulin response multiplies. Your blood sugar might look fine, but behind the scenes, insulin surges quietly, relentlessly. This is how damage hides in plain sight. You can have normal glucose numbers and still drown your metabolism in insulin. And insulin, when chronically elevated, does 10 times more damage than sugar ever could. Insulin resistance doesn't announce itself with pain. It whispers. With hunger that arrives too soon. With fluid retention in your ankles and fingers. With brain fog that makes focus feel slippery.
that heavy pressure behind the eyes by mid-morning, cravings at 11, a crash at 2, a snack at 4, comfort food at night. Inflammation builds silently. Iron becomes trapped in the liver. Sodium is retained in the tissues. Visceral fat wraps your organs like insulation that suffocates instead of protects. Hormones drift off course. Excess androgens, polycystic ovarian patterns, hair thinning, prostate enlargement, metabolic chaos masquerading as normal aging. This is the blood sugar roller coaster, and breakfast is often the first push.
The tragedy isn't that people eat poorly. It's that they eat at the wrong time. They interrupt a biological window when insulin is lowest and fat burning is highest. They replace internal fuel with external calories precisely when the body is most capable of using its own reserves. Once that door closes in the morning, it rarely opens again. The rest of the day becomes correction. Snack to fix the crash, caffeine to override fatigue, willpower to suppress hunger insulin created. At night, sleep fragments. The kidneys respond to insulin resistance. You wake again and again. Energy drains before tomorrow even begins. There is another way. Not extreme, not punishing, not heroic, simply aligned. Imagine waking and not eating, not as deprivation, but as permission. Permission for your liver to finish its work. Permission for insulin to stay low. Permission for fat cells to release energy. Ketones rise gently. The brain sharpens. Mood stabilizes. Hunger quiets because appetite hormones calm when insulin does. The body stops begging for constant input and starts trusting its own stores. This is metabolic control. This is how real fasting works, not by magic, by signaling, by letting ancient machinery do what it evolved to do in the absence of food: repair, recycle, adapt. When the first meal finally arrives, late morning, early afternoon, it is no longer a rescue. It is nourishment. Insulin rises briefly, then falls. Fat burning resumes. The cycle resets cleanly. People fear skipping breakfast because they fear hunger. But hunger is not the enemy. Dysregulated hunger is. When carbohydrates dominate the morning, hunger becomes urgent, emotional, relentless. When insulin stays low, hunger becomes a quiet signal. You don't fight it, you schedule it. Lowering carbohydrates first makes the transition gentle. Asking one question in the morning, "Am I truly hungry?" restores trust between mind and body. As that first meal drifts later, mental clarity sharpens, mood steadies, weight falls, not by force, but by permission. Liver fat melts away, inflammation fades, sleep deepens. The need for constant stimulation disappears. This is not about rules. It's about timing, about respecting the silent work your body does when you finally stop interfering, about realizing that the most radical act of self-care might be doing nothing at all for a few more hours after you wake. And once you feel what that does to your energy, your focus, your sense of control, you stop seeing aging as a downward slope. You see it as a conversation, one where your daily habits are either shouting over your biology or finally letting it speak.